So some quick updates. Today's video is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. They don't sponsor me. I wish they did. I live on it. I got 2 orders in 1 week from IPD. And I have a bone to pick with IPD. 2 orders, whole bunch of money, no stickers. Who does that? Come on. I'm happy with the parts I got, but I wanted some stickers. Everybody wants a sticker. We got our cool fuse panel cover. We got a door light switch. I'm in the middle of playing with the wiring up there. Some fuse stuff down there. I gotta do something about that. That drives me nuts. It rubs the column cover or something. I'm getting a nicer wheel anyway, but that's for now. Oh, and my wife got me a positive poo. Yeah. So that's now my buddy that rides along. And I still haven't addressed the wiring for windows and stuff. That whole wire mess is just going to disappear. It'll be like blink and it's gone. Right now, I'm testing fuses and wiring to see why I have no interior lights, even when I mess with it. I had it like flicker once. That was all I could get out of it. Now I got nothing. Same with the back one. The back one used to work for like a few days and then it didn't. So I'm going to address all this, see what that is, because we want this car perfect. And what else is happening right now? This is a whole box of goodies, so is the one in the back seat. New ball joints, new inner outer tie rods because we want to go fast and not get killed. LED lighting, that's from somewhere else. Grill clips because it had zip ties like most of these cars. There's the old light switch. Just a whole bunch of fun stuff. But inner and outer tie rods, this has a cam rack in it. So I'm going to start doing some of this stuff. I'm not going to do the tie rods until we get it at the shop on the lift. Make my life a little easier. I could do them here, but it'll stink. What else? Yeah, there's another light switch, but this one, for some reason, it came busted. It's hanging out the back. So I'm going to see if they'll send me another one. I'm sure they will. They seem to back their stuff. After a little tuning, that's her idling. Idle from inside the car. Yeah. And that will hide everything when it's done. Instant. The only thing I got left is the idle air control valve, getting that set correctly, get my power steering done, and get my AC to do cold things. But everything else is good. It's going to be a hard video to take, but I'm going to give you a video of changing the door handle, the outside handle. So I don't have my tripod, as usual. Really good. You're going to take out your speaker. So on a regular door, you'll have a little grill you can pop off with a trim tool, and then there will be 4 screws underneath that. Then you have one here. You have 2 little covers you're going to pry out right there and there with 2 screws. This just pops off, and it's better that you do that by hand. And then the switch will come out when this whole thing comes out. So you take the bolts out, pull back a little, the switch will come out, unplug it, and then we twist this up to about here. And there's a like an L-shaped channel in here that locks in and twists. So I will get back to you when I get that apart. And then if you have the map pocket, you'll obviously have the couple clips at the bottom, and then your map pocket can come off. There's 2 screws on the outsides. If you don't have a map pocket, you just got the 2 screws, and then the rest is just clips all the way around. That was literally 20 seconds to take all that off. Then you have a little mirror cover, just pops off unless you have the adjustable mirror. Even then, it has a cover that pops off. Then you've got to unscrew the little locking tab here. Just that easy. There's a couple clips all the way up the door. Just be careful. They're obviously 20, 30 years old at this point. And then the whole door panel will just lift off. Just that simple. Now we're in here where we can get to the door handle, which is right there. Those 2 screws, and there should be an arm. Yep, right there. Just slides on the arm with the spring, and 2 screws. Very simple. So now's obviously the best time to wipe that down. It's the only time you're ever going to get the clean under your handle. This is the fun part. This goes in at a weird angle, twists, and of course my camera's going to mess up now, but that's just that easy. If you're fighting it harder than that, stop what you're doing, because you're going to do damage to your door and bend it. But like anything else Volvo, if you've ever done the fuel pumps on these, they have a cool origami way of getting things in and out. But there it is. So now we just put that arm on, put the 2 bolts in, and we're done. There's your adjustment if you ever have to adjust one of these handles. That thing twists. You take the spring off and just turn that in circles. But mine's fine, it's just it broke the handle. So here we go. My mind turned off for a second when I was showing you this, but this little piece just pops off. I forgot all about these. I haven't done a door handle on a 240 since like the late 90s, 2000s. But this just pops off, comes right out of your way. There's the other screw, easier to get. And I found out my door lock actuator right here was unhooked. Somebody already unhooked the power door locks, so I just put all this back. But that makes your life a lot easier to get to the last screw. Just make sure back here there is a L in the plastic, goes that way. You want that behind the window track. If you don't do that first, your window's going to be jammed. And then these just pop in with little clips, just that simple. And these are your clips that hook to the door panel. Some of them get stuck in the door, like that one. You can just take a trim tool or anything shaped like a fork, even a real fork, can go behind there and pop them out. If they break, don't panic. The auto parts store has these in stock and they're only like $2. So we're gonna get those out, put them back on the door panel, and then put the door panel back in. The door handle's installed. Now is a great time to test. Oh, it's like a new one. And now is a great time to lubricate all of your door latch while you're already in here from the inside. Not many times you're going to be in here, so anywhere you have a joint, like right there and down there where it pivots, you should lubricate that. Anything, you're not seeing much, but anything in there that moves, lubricate it. It's a great time now. You can use white lithium, you can use a graphite spray, a dry graphite, or even just WD would be helpful. Here she is, a beautiful bouncing baby door. All back together. Make sure your window still works and everything. But, yep, make sure it's unlocked before you test your door. Make sure you tighten that, because I didn't, obviously. Everything else is clipped in nice. Okay. There it is. That was a chrome one. Couldn't buy a black one new, so I bought a chrome one and painted it. I think it looks alright. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. Morning, YouTube. So, sorry about no beard. My wife was nice enough to shave my head for me. I thought it was good enough to shave my beard and trim it, and yeah, I wasn't. I nicked it, so I cut it all off. It'll be back in a week. we got everybody's favorite wagon today. We're working on the tomato. And if you can't tell, I'm going to cheat today and use a lift. Sorry, it's not in my backyard, but I got rid of the distributor since last time and sealed that up. And today we're going to do the drive shaft carrier in this car. We're going to do the front end. It needs an inner tie rod on this side, but I'm going to do all the tie rods and all the ball joints. They're not bad, but with the horsepower that we want to meet in this car, I don't feel like getting killed if something goes loose. So we're just going to put all brand new stuff in it. I'll show you the shifter from underneath now that you'll get to see it on a lift, what I had to fix, what I'm still going to work on because I want to adjust it. You'll get to see the undercarriage of this car. It's in really good shape. You'll get to see those springs that Dean installed from up in the air. I was able to put in new grill springs and clips the other day because I'm going to be doing a blackout, and I didn't like that it was zip tied, so I got all the right clips. What else? I got more clips coming from IPD in the next day or two. I'm painting some trim. I'm going to redo all the trim on the car. And I don't know if I'll have enough time this video or the next video, but we're going to install a catch can system on this car. And I'm also rebuilding the 13C turbo that's in this car. It's not staying, not at all, but for now, I figured I'd do a video, show you how to reseal and rebuild your turbo, because this one blows oil. And that way, if you got one and you want to keep it, you know how to do it. And then we'll have a good 13C just kicking around for something later when we need it. I'll use it for a little while, we'll try it out, see how much power we can make out of the 13C, and then we'll either go to a 20T or we'll go all the way up to like an HX35 whole set or something. So let's get started. I'll get her up in the air and show you around, and we'll go from there. I can't stress this enough. Whenever working on a Volvo, have a pit bull nearby. They're very helpful. They love to sit around and look cute. Alright, check this out. Here's my front driver wheel. That's extremely loose. So I don't feel like getting killed. You can see all the plays right there on the inner. The outer's not moving. And the ball joint's tight and everything, but we're going to change all of that. Let's walk around and look over the undercarriage. So we've got, that's paint, but there's a little oil back there. We'll check on that. I did check the fluid in this and top it up. It's dry. It's just, there's a little bit back here. Here's our oil pan. Nice, dry, and clean. Everything's dry up in here. Here's our toilet. Our turbo. Here is our turbo. And our turbo is leaking oil from the feed line on the right, and I think a little bit on the return, and it pools right there. Drips and sprays on the exhaust, which we're going to look this over. There's not much of a gap there, so I'm going to bend that pipe. There's a good gap there, there's a good gap here. Here a gap, there a gap, everywhere a gap. So, here's our carrier that we're going to work on today. It's a little toast. Shouldn't be that bad to do though. No U-joint play. Here's where I had to work on it last time. These two were gone. There was one in there with the nut out, and it swung around hit the floor, dented it here, scuffed all the paint up pretty bad. And from what I've seen, I think this car was originally a gray car and painted red. They did a good job because they jammed it and everything. The shift tower is now shifted to the driver's side. It used to sit like right where my hand is, and it all got bent when that drive shaft flung around. And this shaft has a tiny bend in it that is making it angled wrong. So I'm going to work on this later today, hopefully. Try to get the pin out and take this whole shaft out and torch it. This was only on the first 2 threads. I cranked that down. But the here's the floors. When Dean sold me the car, he goes, there is a couple spots, and this is what he's talking about. There's one here, which only leads to a wiring channel. This is nothing. I could cut this out in like an hour and weld something in. There's this spot, which is surface rust, and like, yeah, it's mostly just surface. Needs to be scuffed back and undercoated. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a southern car, so it's much better than what we got up here. Here's those nice blue springs. Here's the 373 posi, which I can attest to it being a posi. Here's the butt cheeks everyone likes to talk about. Mint. Mint. This bumper piston seems to be in a little more than this one. Probably bumped into something. I'll put a new one in it. What do we got? Gas adjust shocks. There's the filter Dean put in with the adapter so he could get rid of the pump that used to sit here. This goes up to the tank to the wall barrel. But yep. So now what we're gonna do is get you on a stand, and we're gonna start doing the drive shaft first, because I cannot move this car very much with it like that. You get a great view of my head from here. So to start off, I'll pull the rear drive shaft out, slide it out of the carrier, and then we'll drop the front shaft and the whole center section. So we'll start here, work our way that way. Let me check on the shop pit bull. Hey, you gonna help me take the bolts out? Come here. Yeah, you're usually helping me. You gonna help today? Huh? Good boy. You gonna help? Huh? Gonna go lay in the sun? I know you. They're telling me no. I know you. You're going in the sun. You gotta help me. I need moral support here. These are hard. Thanks, bud. You enjoy your sunlight. Whenever I'm under a car, I check everything around me. Right now I'm looking at the pinion seal, which looks good. It's all dry. The whole axle's dry. I'm even looking over by the rotors and everything, making sure I don't see any axle leaks. Looking at the brake lines. You know, it's a good time to check anything. Fuel lines, brake lines. the obvious stuff. I'm going to check all the rear bushings. I'll put a pry bar in these control arms. And at some point, when I do better rear shocks and stuff, I'm going to show you, since they don't make any great options for this, I'm going to show you plating in these control arms. We're going to make them a lot stronger. We're going to do the same thing with the front end for now. We'll box in these control arms, make them strong like racing ones. Land of loose bolts. That one's super tight. So let me lower the car and we will turn off the e-brake and put it in neutral so we can spin that shaft around and get to that other bolt. That name again is Mr. Clock. You gotta cope with me, alright? Hey, tell me in the comments, because I believe it's true. Does every mechanic have ADD? Because most of the ones I know do. Oh yeah, and anyone out there in Volvo land, do you have a set of door locks and an ignition for a 245 so I can have matching keys, or at least a good set of door locks and tailgate lock? If you do, let me know. Comment or email to me. I'll put my email in the description, and I'm happy to buy it off you and have you ship it to me. I could use a good set. That's one thing I love about the Volvo community, is most people come together to help each other. It's the only community I've been part of that acts like that. I've been in a lot of car culture communities. I've been doing race cars for 20 years now, you know, building high horsepower stuff. And most communities are more about themselves than others. But in the Volvo community, it seems like everyone wants to lend a helping hand or rent your car or, you know, just talk to you about it. And I really like that. It's like the peaceful car community. That's why I've been wanting to be stuck in this car culture for a while. I've always loved Volvos. I've worked on them since they were new. Well, you know, in the 90s when they were new. But I've always been in love with them, and then when I saw what the people were like, I loved them even more. So now, what I'm going to do, and this is good practice, I'll show you. You put these on the lift, and I gotta grab something real quick. So, this is good practice. Right here. Here is where the carrier, the center of the center yoke and the rear shaft meet, right on your carrier. Paint a mark and paint a mark on what tooth lines up, because the thing is, when the shaft was made, they balanced them together. So they're in perfect balance in the order they're in. if I move the shaft so this weight is in a different position, it could go out of balance and vibrate pretty badly. And we don't want that. So what I do, here, if I can get you in here, I'm trying to see what you see. There we are. I make a mark on the tooth, and I made a mark right here on the front shaft. So I can see and realign it when I'm done. Just a good thing to practice. You don't want this thing to be out of balance. And now while it's apart, another good time to check U-joints and stuff. And I just told you a minute ago this was nice and tight and good. Yep, it is tight. It doesn't go that way. You can't even turn it, which is not good. That means this U-joint's toast, and you can feel that. But I can't twist that, and I can lift hundreds of pounds. So that's toast. We'll do that while that's out. Check this one out. That one's fine. But that rear one, toast. I gotta make a call and get the order. Okay. So that U-joint is on its way. It's about an hour away. So while I wait for that, we're gonna take all this apart. I'll start with the front ones I just put in recently, and then we'll take out the center and drop the whole thing. Now, the front shaft is free, and because the carrier is toast, look at that. I shouldn't be able to do that. And that bearing was gone anyway. But you can see, it's been riding on that for a while. Shouldn't hear grit in your bearing like that. Yeah. There is the wiped out carrier that's been dry rotted and fallen apart forever. No spring left, no washer, no nothing, it's all gone. So let me drop this, and then we'll get the bearing off the shaft and we'll start over. We'll put it all back together. Now, I'm known for showing the right way to do things. And I can show you the wrong way to do things. I can show you the redneck way to do things. But let's say you're at home. I'm a lucky guy and I know it. I have infinite tools. I own a company that services trucks. So I have service trucks full of tools. I have every tool known to man. But a lot of you guys are home on a weekend just doing this in your driveway with whatever you got laying around your house, and hoping to be back to work on Monday driving your car. So I'm going to show you more of the homeowner way to do this. I have a 20-ton press right there. This could be off in 2 seconds. I have pullers. So if you have one at home, one way you can do this that's real easy is a 2 or 3 jaw puller. You put the stud through here, you put the jaws on here, and you tighten it up, pulls it right off. Okay? That's the right way to do this. Or if you had a 20-ton press at your disposal, stupid easy, put the shims under here, press the top, put a plate on here, boom, it's out. We're going to do it the driveway way, just so you can see it. Now, some of you will have a pickle fork because you do tie rods or something on your car. These are cheap, 20 bucks at Harbor Freight, or you can buy them on Amazon. You can use a chisel, you can use whatever you got. I don't like using a chisel because you can easily mar this up if it's sharp. This is going to sit right in the bearing only. I'm not on the shaft, I'm way up in the bearing. You might bend this little dust shield. We can bend that back later, so don't panic about that. But if you put your arm on the shaft, get that right in the bearing. Some serious wax. I don't know if you can see that, but it's already moved a good ½ inch, almost an inch. We're over halfway off, and I've only done this for 2 seconds. Now turn it. I like to keep turning it, so I'm doing it from different sides. There she goes. Just that simple. Now, I didn't even hit the shaft at all. So it's clean. We're going to clean this with sandpaper anyway, make sure it's spotless, no grease, no rust. And this, I only dented it a little there. We can use a pair of pliers, straighten that right up. Off camera for 20 seconds. That's what I got on a benchtop wire wheel. Now, let's take a look at the new one. Fresh from IPD. Not, only noise you're hearing is my glove. So we're going to make sure it seems to be the right size, which it does. Now, we're going to grease that. Just a little, just enough. In fact, here, we use some liquid wrench penetrating oil. We just want something to get it on here without damaging it. Now, I'm going to show you some tricks for putting these back. Give me 1 second. So how we're going to do this. We are going to use our old one as a sacrificial bearing. So for starters, what we could do, take your hammer on the flat side and just tap. Making sure to go straight. Now we've run out of room. We have nowhere else we can go. So now we're going to use a big socket of some kind. Anything we got that's round that'll fit over it. Almost there. I literally have about 1 centimeter left. There it is. It's seated. So now, just pop the old one out. New one's in. No damage done to the new one. Feels great. Now we can just go in with some needle noses, fix up our shield, and no more bad bearing. It's all dry inside. Doesn't look so good. But that's how you can do it at home with no specialties. I had to do that off camera. There was no way I could film and do it. But if anyone tells you these are easy peasy to put on, they're a-holes. They're lying to you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the bolts for the front. And if you're ever putting one of these together, just be patient. Like I said, no sharp tools. Take your time. If you need to, take a break. Go have a drink. Don't get aggravated because it won't go any better. Let me just start these bolts. I can get my glove stuck in the bolt. With the heat today, everything is a struggle. And the reason I'm starting these first is because when I have to put this up, there's a spring and a spacer, and I'm not going to be able to hold the whole shaft plus all those parts together. This is way easier. So we're going to start all these. We're not going to torque them yet. We just want to have them all in so it's not moving too much. Do not forget to tighten these when the job is done. Otherwise, you're going to get to see how quick your shifter can go from second gear over to the passenger seat. Ask me how I know. You lose these bolts, a lot of fun stuff happens pretty quick, and the tires lock up, make some great noises. So don't do that. Bad times. Lose these bolts, bad juju happens. Alright, so we got all three in here. Let me grab the spring and the spacer, and then we'll put that on. Spring, spacer. Now, get this through. Yes, again. So the spring goes through. The spacer goes through. Okay? See that? Just like that. And then we put the cross member up. Keeping all this stuff centered. I'm just going to snug those so they don't fall out. Now, if you can see that, it has a nice cushion to ride on, a nice spring in there, which I want to center that just a hair better. It's pretty good, but there we go. It popped in place. The spring just keeps tension on it so it can bounce around and stay where it belongs. But now it spins nice and free. There's no bang, bang, bang. Much better. So now the obvious stuff. It's all reverse order. We're going to put our bolts back. And when our U-joint comes in, we'll put a U-joint in that shaft and we'll put the shaft back. We're going to tighten all this up. Right after I put these in, I'm going to tighten those. So I didn't get to take you along, I'm sorry. Things happened, parts got delivered. There's the new U-joint. I will put up some pictures of what I took out of there. It was not good. But this is nice now, very tight. The front end's still not done. The tie rod is wrong. Both companies, wrong one. And I will say this. You have a problem with a part you ordered from IPD, don't email them, call them. They're really nice people. I called over there and I said I thought I had a cam rack. It's got larger tie rods. It's got female thread. And the guy goes, it is a cam rack. He goes, there's two different styles. And he goes, that's weird. That's 70 style, like 78 through 80. And he looked it up and they have them coming in, so he's going to send me some. But he goes, that's weird that it's in a 93. So I said, well, 30-something-year-old car, a lot of hands it's been through. So somebody apparently put an old school rack in this car, and that's why the tie rods are all wrong. So I get to wait. The closest ones I could find were Seattle, so I had to put the old stuff back for now. The next video you see, we will do the catch can, a little more tuning on this thing, and we'll see what happens with other parts. But you know, that's where we are now.